All right, so Vance, assess this game for the people. Give me what you liked about the defensive showing against Nebraska, and give me what, if any, concerns you have coming out of watching that performance against Nebraska.
The execution by the front seven and the secondary versus the run was absolutely outstanding. Last week we had some issues. That was cleaned up. Anytime you play a team that runs option is difficult to defend because it's called assignment football. You must take care of your assignment. And they didn't do a good job. They did a great job. They really did. Now, my concern is pass defense. We're getting such great pressure up front sometimes you can't see some of the issues we have in the back end. But when the team has time, we've had some minor problems. We said, well, Moore was injured. He missed a couple of games. He's a little rusty. Johnson's been injured and he's a little rusty. Well, guess what? They still look rusty to me. I mean, I still have some concerns about that. And this week, Jesse Minter went to the game and did a lot of drop eight. In other words, you rushed three and you was dropping both defensive ends. And we had some issues with those guys and their drops. And we're going in the video we showed that. I mean, a couple of slants we were beat inside because the ends their drops weren't very good. They had no idea the split of receivers were the drops. So those things have to be cleaned up. But overall, it was a great defensive showing by the defense, and the score I think is indicative of that. But we got some things for Penn State we got to get cleaned up. For Ohio State, we got to get cleaned up. For Maryland, if we play them, we got to get cleaned up. In Minnesota, we're gonna beat the brakes off of Minnesota. You go up to Michigan State, that whole place is in disarray. I mean, it's like you got a house with and you got termites been to the house. The whole thing falling down. You blow it, it's gonna fall right now. So Indiana, I mean, I might as well get out there and play quarterback. But Penn State now, come on, come on, Penn State for real.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting to see these next 4 games or so, how much the starters, I'm talking about defensive starters. Like you saw the offensive starters were out in the third quarter. I saw some defensive starters on the field late in the game. And probably to the point that you were making, some of those guys need some reps. Some of those guys have had that rust. That means maybe you play them a little longer. And I wonder if that's something that we see in the coming weeks. Speaking of reps, so you talked a lot about the edge play against Rutgers. In particular, number 5, Josiah Stewart, had some contain. It was early. They cleaned it up after the first quarter, right? But you picked out some very clear talking points about responsibility football that clear to your point that you just made. They were on point as far as that was concerned. In this game, the edge play, just talking about from run and pass rush, Vance. Man, you got the defensive player of the week in Josiah Stewart with 5 tackles and 2 sacks. You had Derek Moore was little boy and his man all game long, pushing him around, right? Braden McGregor had a tip pass that led to an interception. He bullied a guy, a tight end, on fourth down to blow up that play to get him turned over on downs. Then he had a sack, and number 32 should have had a bunch of sacks, but the ref wouldn't give him no call. This was, as edge play goes, this was the best game of the season. I know there's some things we're going to talk about that need to clean up. This is the best game of the season collectively for those edge guys.
It is. I mean, they did a lot of good things. Go back a week ago, we had some issues with a man 5 on the edge. Didn't have that this week. I mean, and overall, again, the front 7, they just put an old fashioned butt whipping on these guys. They control the line of scrimmage from the opening snap to the end. And but I expect that. I'm not surprised about that, Sam. I know my man Mike Elston coaching. I know he's going to get that stuff cleaned up. I had no doubt in my mind, and they will continue to get better and better each week. But I said from the start of the season is this: I said as depth, they have more depth as a group, more talent than last year up front. I've seen that, and so I think long term wise, it's going to benefit us because they can roll guys in there and really don't miss a beat. My man I love last year, 55 Graham. He not out there this week. We didn't miss a beat. I thought he was out there the way it looked because they just knocking the offensive line backwards. Did a tremendous job. So again, this opportunity to build depth is getting ready for Penn State and for Ohio State because Ohio State trying to be more physical. I don't know if Ryan Day gonna stick with it because I still think the man is soft. That's just me. But when push comes to shove, he won't win pretty. Right now, he's trying to win tough, but no, I'm not buying it. I mean, it's like a salesman coming to my door, open the door, I just slam the door in his face. Man, that's not who you are. Ryan Day, that's not who you are. Listen to me. You're gonna throw the football. We're gonna sack your quarterback 10 times like we did the last 2 years. But I'm getting off the subject. My bad. I couldn't help myself. I just don't like Ohio State. I'm
Hey
gonna
man,
apologize for that.
hey, you in present company is very much in agreement with your sentiment about Ohio State. Make no mistake.